YouTube channel, Noob Readers. So today we'll be talking about this book that is The Lost Symbol by Dan Brown. Now this is the third book in the Robert Langdon series, and as I have loved the first two books that are Angels and Demons and Da Vinci Code so much that I wanted to continue with this series, I'll be reading the whole Robert Langdon series in May, so don't forget to check out the other videos that will be coming as well. So now let's talk about this book. Like, there's so much that I want to talk about. Like, this going through this book was a hell of a journey because there was so much going on, and there were times when I was so angry at what was going on in this book, and there were times when I was so intrigued and loving it. So if we talk about the plot starts with our main protagonist, who is Robert Langdon. Robert Langdon receives a phone call one day, and he is asked to come to Washington, D.C. to give a talk by a person called Peter Solomon, who is a friend as well as a mentor of Robert Langdon. And he asked Robert to come to Washington, D.C. with a small packet that was entrusted to Robert years ago. So when Robert visits the capital, he sees that there is no such talk going on, and the Peter Solomon is actually missing, and there is this one hand of Peter that is available over there. So when Robert sees that hand, he immediately knows that this hand belonged to Peter because there is this Masonic ring over there. Sees that there is a lot of tattoos that are there on the hands. So then he receives the phone call from the kidnapper itself, and the kidnapper tells him that you need to find the treasure that is hidden somewhere buried deep inside the Washington, D.C. So basically, he says that if you want to see Peter again, you need to find the ancient mysteries. As Robert Langdon is saying that whatever that you are looking for is basically a legend, and the ancient mysteries does not exist. It is just a legend, but the kidnapper is convinced that they exist, and they are going to give the kidnapper huge powers, and so that he was looking for that. So then we see that Robert meets the person over there, who is the person from the CIA, who is Sato, and she is a female director of the CIA, and she says that the one that kidnapper is looking for is very powerful, and it's actually a part of the national security. So CIA is also involved in this. So that is basically the plot. Here we see a lot of different characters. Main ones are Catherine Solomon, who is the younger sister of Peter Solomon, and she is a scientist and who's working in the noetic sciences. Basically, I really liked the whole concept of noetic science in this book, and the way that her experiments are explained. And Catherine Solomon is such a smart and strong female character, and I really loved her because there were times when she was even smarter than Robert Langdon himself. So I really liked that. The villain, and I think that this book's villain was really well done because he was such an interesting guy. Like, he was very weird though. Like, he has tattoos all over his body, all those symbols that you can find that were related to Freemasonry, or the symbols that are related to the ancient mysteries. He had them tattooed on his body, and there was this one part that was not tattooed, and he was looking for that, basically that information that he can find using the ancient mysteries, and he will get that particular information tattooed over there, which was there on his head, that part where there was no tattoo. And then we see that he does all these crazy rituals where he believes in these sacrifices where he's just killing birds and animals. Then he talks about the human sacrifice and spilling blood. From then, there are members of this Masonic Brotherhood who help Robert Langdon and Catherine Solomon in their quest. Robert Langdon and Catherine and Peter and Malak, the villain. These are the main characters that are more thoroughly explained, and story moves more around them. But Langdon's character, how the book tries to make him a little a little stupid. Like, I'll be very honest, like in the first 150 pages of the book, everyone is asking Robert Langdon, like, why the kidnapper thinks that you have the knowledge that will help him uncover these ancient mysteries. Like, why you're the one. Like, there must be something that you have, some information that you have with you that the kidnapper wants. And Robert Langdon is just like, I don't know. Like, I have no information. Like, how do I know? And then after like 150 pages, he miraculously says that, yeah, like Peter entrusted me with this small packet. Maybe it's about this. Which is something that's pretty obvious, and which makes Robert Langdon a pretty stupid character, which I really hated. So I think that first 100 and 150 pages of this book, nothing is literally going on, and this is the part that I least enjoyed. There are like multiple reveals, and I think that those things were not that suspenseful because I actually saw them coming. Apart from that, the major reveal that happened in the end, where we actually see the identity of the villain. I somehow guessed it, but I was not that sure about it. Apart from that, there were this crazy experiment that Catherine Solomon did, which was about finding the weight of the soul. Yeah, she actually found the weight of the soul. So that was pretty crazy. And the part where we see Robert is actually dying. Like, there is this near death experience that he has. And now let's talk about the ending. And I think that most people who did not like this book did not like it because of the ending, because in the end we do not get any particular conclusive evidence or any conclusive thing. I personally believe that I somehow I saw that coming, that this treasure would not be any physical thing, that it would be something which is more metaphorical and something more of a legend than any physical power. So basically what we get is a Bible that is buried deep inside a place in Washington DC, and that's basically whatever that's written inside the Bible is the lost symbol or the ancient mysteries. So basically, there is some codes in the Bible. So that's what the book says, that there are some mysterious text that is there included in the Bible, and if you'll read it, it's not literal. You need to read between the lines to actually get the real meaning. And I really like how, in the end, the book talks about the science as well as whatever that we know about God. It somehow makes sense if you keep both the things together, like science and the ancient wisdom is somehow related, and both the things just talk about the exact same thing. It's just that earlier we were not able to prove that, but as Catherine's experiments have actually concluded whatever that was said, like because of her soul experiment, the results would be that there is something like soul, because the soul has a mass. So basically it's a physical entity, as it has been proven by Catherine's results. So that was what the end of this book was about. So as I have rated this book as 3 stars, I can say that it's an amazing read. Like, when you're reading this, you get to know all these different amazing concepts and you will love it. But the parts where Robert was shown as this really dumb person, and then there was the scene where villain Malak literally kidnaps Peter from his own home. Like, how can you just go and kidnap someone from their own home when they're such an important person? So these inconsistencies made this book, I can say, not that enjoyable for me. So I can say that if you're someone who believes in spirituality as a concept, so this end will make sense to you, because the end talks about the human mind and the creation becoming the creator. Basically says that we are God, and the God created us, and we are also the images of God. And so all these, spirituality concepts are explained in the end of this book. And the book just basically explains that all the religious text in all the different religions basically talks about this word, which is the ancient wisdom. So it's not a treasure that is buried deep somewhere. It's actually about the information that is there in the religious texts, as well as our mind, which is actually the most powerful thing. And as there are more advancements in the noetic science, we'll know more about how we can harness the power of our mind to do something, and how, if there are like a lot of people who believes in the same thing, if they all think about the same thing at the same time, then they can make that thing to happen. So they can have more control over the surroundings. We can control our own surrounding. That's something that is, explained in this book. If you should definitely check this out if you haven't. And if you think that there is something that I have missed that was important and you want to add in that, then please don't forget to comment down below, and do tell me if you like this video, and give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.